Good morning and a very warm welcome. You're watching the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. We're coming to you live and direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. We're less than 24 hours away from Christmas, and as Christians in Sri Lanka and around the world prepare to celebrate Christmas with so much joy and devotion, this morning on the Breakfast Rundown we have news for you coming up concerning Christmas in Sri Lanka, around the world, security arrangements and so much more. And as always, we have more key news items, local, international as well, coming up right here on the Breakfast Rundown. Stay tuned with us. We have all the news in detail. Let's move on to our top story for this morning. The joyous occasion of Christmas, marking the birth of Jesus Christ, is less than 24 hours away. People around the world, including Christians in Sri Lanka, are preparing to celebrate this sacred day with much devotion and reverence. Although born in a humble manger, Jesus Christ sent a message of peace, love and hope to all of humanity, especially to the poor and the oppressed. His birth in Bethlehem over 2,000 years ago continues to be a symbol of faith and true meaning of Christmas. Christians around the world, including millions in Sri Lanka, are preparing to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ with great devotion. The main Christmas services are being held at the Vatican's St. Peter's Basilica, led by His Holiness Pope Francis. In this sacred setting, the Pope will deliver the Christmas message to the world. In Sri Lanka, the main Christmas service will be held at Our Lady of Sorrows Church in Jaila under the leadership of His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjith, the Archbishop of Colombo. As Christians around the world reflect on the significance of Jesus Christ's birth, they come together to share a message of peace, love and joy this year's Christmas. Let's move on to more local news for this morning. A special security arrangement will be in place today for the safety of the general public during the festive season. Director and media spokesperson of the Police Media Division, Senior Superintendent of Police Buddhika Manatunga, said that 6,500 police officers have been deployed for the security within the Colombo city limits. Additionally, approximately 600 police officers in civilian clothing have also been deployed for other security measures. Now, meanwhile, Director and Media spokesperson of the Police Media Division, SSP Buddhika Manatunga, added that a total of 45,000 police officers have been assigned for security in other cities across the country as well. Meanwhile, approximately 150,000 breathalyzer devices have been distributed to police stations across the country to apprehend drunk drivers during this festive season. Director and media spokesperson of the Police Media Division, Senior Superintendent of Police Buddhika Manatunga, said that search efforts for drunk drivers will be carried out systematically. Meanwhile, a large-scale operation to investigate passenger buses as well as other vehicles will be carried out today as well. In more local news now, the Cabinet has approved the importation of rice stocks until the 10th of January 2025. This decision was made during a Cabinet meeting that was held yesterday. Cabinet spokesman, Minister of Health, Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa, said that the rice importation permit, which expired on the 20th of December, has now been extended until the 10th of January 2025. Minister of Trade, Vasanta Samarasinghe, also added that the relevant Gazette notification is set to be issued promptly. According to Sri Lanka Customs now, 67,000 metric tons of imported rice were received in the country as of the 20th of December this year. Out of this, 28,500 metric tons are of raw rice and 38,500 metric tons are of Nadu rice. Customs media spokesman, Additional Director General Sivali Arukkuda, said that they also collected 4.3 billion rupees in import tax revenue from these rice stocks that were imported to the country. A committee has been appointed to address organized crimes and traffic control. The committee is composed of selected senior Deputy Inspector Generals of Police and Deputy Inspector Generals of Police in charge of various provinces of Sri Lanka. The acting IGP, Attorney at Law Priyantha Veerasurya, said that officers from the Criminal Investigation Department have also been assigned to this committee. According to the police, 99 shootings have been reported so far this year, and these shootings have resulted in 55 fatalities. The most recent shooting incident was reported yesterday in Koskadavala, Veeragula in Yakkala, where a 30-year-old man was injured. Police said that a 9mm firearm was used to carry out the shooting. Police also suspect that two unidentified individuals arrived on a motorcycle and carried out this shooting. In more local news for this morning, approval has been sought from the Public Service Commission to recruit 30 divisional secretaries. The secretary to the Ministry of Public Administration, Aloka Bandara, said that 30 divisional secretary officers are currently operating under the acting divisional secretaries. Now, he went on to note that grade 1 or 2 officials from the administrative service have been recommended for approval by the Public Service Commission after conducting interviews. Let's move on to news overseas for this morning. Our first international news item comes in from Bangladesh. The interim government of Bangladesh has sent a diplomatic note and urged India to send deposed Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina back to Dhaka. The 77-year-old Awami League leader has been living in India since the 5th of August when she fled Bangladesh amid massive protests that brought down her 16-year-old regime and forced her to flee the country. The Dhaka-based International Crimes Tribunal, or ICT, has issued arrest warrants in the names of Sheikh Hasina as well as her ministers, advisors and former military civil officials, accusing them of crimes against humanity as well as genocide. Tawhid Hussain, a foreign affairs advisor in the interim government, told reporters that Bangladesh has sent a diplomatic message to the Indian government saying that Bangladesh wants her back in the country for judicial process. Earlier, Home Advisor Jahangir Alam said his office had sent a letter to the External Affairs Ministry of India to facilitate Hasina's extradition. Now, Alam said an extradition treaty exists between Dhaka and New Delhi, according to which Hasina could be taken back to Bangladesh under that agreement that is already in place. The diplomatic communication seeking Sheikh Hasina's return comes weeks after Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri visited Bangladesh and spoke to Chief Advisor in the interim government, Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus. Speaking to reporters in Dhaka, Misri said he had a frank, candid and constructive exchange of views with his interlocutors and discussed the entire gamut of issues in the extremely important bilateral relationship between the two countries. He added that India had also raised the issue of attacks on minorities, including Hindus, with Bangladesh leaders. Our second international news item this morning comes in from the United States. Luigi Mangione, the man accused of fatally gunning down health insurance executive Brian Thompson on a Manhattan street, pleaded not guilty yesterday to New York State murder charges that brand him a terrorist. Mangione, who is 26 years old, was escorted into Judge Gregory Caro's 13th floor courtroom in New York State Criminal Courthouse in Lower Manhattan, with a court officer on each arm and a procession of a half-dozen officers following him. Mangione at the courtroom leaned into a microphone and said not guilty when Caro asked how he pleaded to the 11-count indictment charging him with murder as an act of terrorism and weapons offenses. If convicted, he faces a maximum sentence of life in prison without a possibility of parole. Thompson, the CEO of United Health Group's insurance unit, United Healthcare, was shot dead on the 4th of December outside a hotel in Midtown Manhattan, where the company was gathering for an investor conference. Like I said before, we're just less than 24 hours away from Christmas this year, and as Christians here in Sri Lanka and around the world prepare to welcome Christmas with much joy and excitement, we leave you this morning with a glimpse at how different cities around the world are celebrating Christmas. Take care, have a wonderful day ahead.